Welcome to the From Concealment Podcast, the show for firearm enthusiasts who like to shoot, train, carry, and compete. Get ready for some shooting and sight, firearm and accessory reviews, and of course, insight on conceal carry. And now, broadcasting from behind enemy lines in the From Concealment studio, it's Pete Mitchell and Dan Sams.
Hey, Freedom Nation, this is Pete Mitchell.
And I'm Dan Sams.
And you have tuned in to the From Concealment Podcast.
Yeah, you did. You're going to be so glad you did. It's going to be another great day of freedom.
If you are not watching us live on Facebook, you're missing out because Dan is rocking his new getup.
I'm so pumped. So I've taken on the philosophy. I might not be an operator, but I can sure as heck look like one. And I mean, I've got my really cool beard, check. Operator's cap, check. Morale patches, check. And now I've got my rig, and I'm feeling pretty good about it, man. I even got my.
I love your roaring shepherd.
Yeah, so that's been kind of a little tagline for me for a long time, and just go ahead and throw that sticker on there, man, or not sticker, my Velcro patch on there. Feeling pretty good, dude. Yeah, I'm really liking this. I'm impressed. I know last week this thing got here in the mail, like literally while we were on the podcast Wednesday, and I am impressed. The Condor knows how to make a really great chest rig for a really reasonable price. And so if you're a guy like me that's not ready to spend, a couple of $100 on just the carrier, not even including the plates, then this is kind of a good way, man. Like I'm digging it.
I always find it interesting when I go to like urban rifle training and all the dudes are kitted up. I mean, it's like everyone's chance to just wear everything they got. And it's usually really hot. Like our outdoor range is Southern California. It's hot in January. I mean, it'll be 90, 95 degrees. And I always find it interesting because I'm like, that's cool and all, but I mean, I'm just always thinking in my head, we're an urban rifle class, right? I mean, this is a class. We're not operators.
Yeah.
But just that chance to dress like an operator takes over, I think. It's so funny.
Well, obviously, I understand that desire.
Well, what's funny is Lance Boland, we had him here on the podcast while you were out 1 week. He runs Fast OC, and every once in a while, we'll have two-gun competitions. And so he writes in his email when he's letting everyone know about the two-gun competition, do not wear any plate carriers. I will kick you out.
That's awesome.
Because everybody would want to come all tuned up. And it's like, dude, man, we're just anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we're just here for the class. Like, come on. It's one thing if you're training and you're going to practice how you want to shoot. It's a whole other thing for, oh man.
Yeah, well, when you're doing competitions, man, it's depending on what rules you're using, like who's IDPA or USPSC. I don't know. There's so many freaking alphabet letters you got to throw into those. I mean, there are different rules on how many rounds you can have. A lot of times when we do our ones there at the range, it's like they don't care. A lot of the times they're like, I don't care if you got a 30-round magazine in your Glock, go for it. So I will have my 24 rounders sticking out, and I don't usually use my 30 rounders because I leave those with my PCC. But
nice though, man.
Yeah. I didn't even ask you before we started. What are we talking about today?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. Probably the impending apocalypse that's going to probably happen on November 4th. I suppose we could talk about that. We could, we should have planned this ahead of time. I can review this thing because it is beauty. I'm pretty
excited. I do want to hear all about it now that you've had a few days to wear it around, as I'm sure you've been wearing it nonstop.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hey, it's super comfortable. So what can you do? And it's gotten chillier here, so it's also keeping me warm.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, I'll tell us a little bit about it, and inevitably that's going to lead to more discussion. So yeah, I got this thing. Man, I was honestly bummed out one day, and I'm like, I need to cheer myself up. And so, like, I've been looking at plate carriers for a long time, and I've always just kind of tried to find this perfect package where I can get all the armor I want with the carrier I want, and it ends up being a big expense and never exactly what I want. I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and get the carrier I want, and then I'll get the plates I want. And so I did. Didn't do anything too super fancy. This is just a Condor Gunner plate carrier. And I think I got it for like $65, $8 shipping. I didn't put much money into it at all. And the idea was I want to start training in my reloads off of a chest rig.
Right.
And I didn't want to get one chest rig and then switch to something else. Like I wanted to get what I'm going to be using and start practicing on that even before I've put plates in it. And obviously I need to do that soon, is get some plates. But anyway, so I got this thing. I had already gotten, I don't know if you guys can see on here, those of you guys who are watching, I already gotten this 3-mag pouch or 3-pouch holder here that mounts with Molly webbing here. I'd already gotten that. I had that on my gun belt. I transferred that to this and got this for like $15 as an add-on. So not very expensive at all. This is turning out, I mean, obviously holds really well. That's been working good. I have my IFAK over here, so I've got all of my like trauma kit and everything on there. I am told, I'm just learning here, but I'm told I'm left eye dominant, so my shooting hand is actually my left hand for rifle. I actually shoot right-handed for pistol, which creates problem for a guy like me. They say that you need to be able to have your rifle hand holding rifle so that you can continue to dispense fire while you administer first aid to your buddy. So I have my my IFAK on my right side so I can access it with right hand while still holding rifle up to shoulder. So that's going to take some training. I'm not ready for that yet, but it's on here. Somewhere I'm going to have to figure out how to mount my tourniquet. There's a couple of different ways. I haven't found a really good, comfortable way where I've got good, fast access. But that's coming next. I've got to figure out where that's going to go. But the other thing is I have these kind of half Kydex mag holsters that hold shape. And so my plan is for re-indexing mags. I'm going to practice with that a little bit. If I need to re-index a mag, I can drop that in there just like that. But the chest carrier itself, nice little Velcroing in cummerbund underneath this here. So this flaps up, connects. I won't, kill everybody's ears with the Velcro right now. But really, really sturdy shoulder, whatever. That mount in the back, little interesting way that's really sturdy, the way that these hook on. Fits pretty good. I have it on, scrawny short guy settings right now. But this could fit somebody a lot bigger than me. That's for sure.
What size is it?
I think this is just a one size kind of deal on these. Okay. At least judging by the Velcro, I've got a good, I don't know, probably 4 inches on both sides of the Velcro that I could add. And then I have in the back, this kind of thing kind of comes together overlapping. This could go around 3 of me, I think, if we put it, fully extended. So, yeah, man, I'm digging it. It's not too heavy. Nice little mesh on the inside, a little bit of padding there. So that's kind of nice. It's going to be hot. That's just the nature of it, but it is not as hot as I would have expected it to be. I feel good about it. Got my nice Velcro for my morale patches on both front and back. I'm digging it. It is not bad at all. And so training is coming. I'm going to up my training game, so I'm no longer reaching from my belt all the way over. We're going to kind of cut the distance between my mag well and my mag pouches in half. Also just a nice smooth whatever. And so I've got to figure out a little bit more, though. I think I want to find a better way to carry mags on me. Right now I've got 4 30-round mags, so that's not bad. 150 rounds. I've heard different philosophies of what you need to do on loadout. I think I'm carrying probably minimum. I'm hearing some that are saying go for like a 200 and some. I'm like, it's a lot of mags. But right now, that's where I'm at. I'm happy with this thing. I'm liking it a lot. I'm recommending it. Condor Gunner. And I haven't even learned everything I need to learn about this thing because I'm still new to the game.
I think one of the keys when it comes to your loadout is, well, let me put it like this. In my financial planning days, I used to sell a lot of life insurance. And I've had some clients die. And I've never once had the spouse go, "Oh, that's too much money. You need to take some of that back," when I've delivered a death benefit check.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of the same way with ammo. No one's ever going to say, "Oh, this gunfight, I don't need that much ammo. You go ahead and keep some of that ammo." There are some things that more is always going to be better.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that while it pisses off pretty much every elected official in California, it's not illegal to have a standard capacity magazine in California if you bought it during Freedom Week or you had it prior to the law changing. We recently had a case, I don't know if we talked about it here on the podcast, we might have, where this guy got arrested because his brother was on parole, and the guy's parole agent came over. He wasn't there. And, the guy's asking him, "Do you have any firearms?" He goes, "No, I don't, but my brother does." And the parole agent goes in and checks his brother's room, which he doesn't legally have the authority to do. Neither did the brother have the authority to give him permission to go in and check, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he had standard capacity magazines. And so they arrested him. And he said, "Well, wait, I bought those during Freedom Week." And the prosecutor says, "I don't really care. We're still going to prosecute you." Even though a federal judge said, if you bought it during that week, you're clean. Now, they finally did drop it because they finally got enough people going, "No, the judge said you can't prosecute people who have standard capacity magazines." Now, whether or not they'll give him back his property, I doubt it, even though that was illegal for them to take it. Here's the funny part in the whole story. He claims, the guy who got arrested, he claims that he bought that magazine in a private party transaction during that week, which is why he doesn't have any paperwork to prove it. I just kind of laugh at that because I don't know a single person who would ever sell a standard capacity magazine in California if you got one. It's like, no,
awesome.
I got it. I got it legally. You get your own. But he claims he did. They finally dropped it because they're like, we can't prove that he didn't do that. So, and I guess it wasn't worth them going after him. But anyway, so my whole point in all of that is that's the reason that I rock a 15 plus 1 plus 17 as always whenever I'm carrying. I figure more is better.
Yep. Well, and you're gonna feel weight, but it's not a crazy amount of weight you're adding on. I mean, you're feeling it. I'm more concerned with functionality and where am I putting it I don't want it to inhibit my movement too much. I already have this freaking IFAC that's huge in the way to some degree. And it doesn't get much smaller. This is a pretty minimal kind of setup in here. I could lessen it a little, but not by much, and still have a legit IFAC there. So I've thought about, like, does this go somewhere else? Like, should I put that on some kind of a drop leg? I don't know, but supposed to have a way to stop holes, which would be plates, which I don't have yet, plug holes, which would be the IFAC, and then make holes, which would be the ammo. Right. And I want to do all three of those things with your chest rig. And so I would say more rounds is better. I feel like I'm okay in the minimal with 150 rounds, but I'd sure like to have more.
One of the problems I have with plates is how small they are.
Yes.
And I know the theory is, well, we're protecting the vitals. I pretty much consider all of me vital. The side, the flesh wound, it's all vital in my opinion. And that's the one thing that just bugs me about that. But I mean, what are you going to do? You're not going to carry around 30 pounds of plate, but.
Yeah. But I mean, some guys get pretty close to that. Like, I'm looking at these level 4s and I think I'm going to be at like 8 or 9 pounds. Which, I mean, you feel that. Like I usually think about a 5-pound bag of flour, what that feels like. And you're going to have almost one of those strapped both on the front and on the back of your chest. That's some weight. And so you get used to it as best you can, but That's some weight, dude.
Yeah.
And then there's another part of me that's like, okay, well, yeah, that's blocking this stuff. It's probably important because all the pros definitely use those. But I'm like, man, part of me is like, there's a whole heck of a lot of me still to get shot beyond that.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, that's a lot of weight, and I'm going to get tired and whatever. So, which is why it's the same as your conceal carry. It's like, okay, I could carry more rounds and maybe it'd be a little bulkier. I could have a longer barrel, maybe be a little bit more accurate, but also more. And so you're always, with your conceal, you're making a judgment call on what's my risk benefit. I think the same thing with what kind of plates. And that's why guys are like, I think I'll be fine with 3A. And then they're like, because it's soft, it's nice. And then it's like, well, no, they're going to shoot at me with 5.56. I probably better get 3+. And so they get their 3+, and then, guys like me that I'm like, well, if I'm putting on that much weight, might as well just get level 4.
Yeah, I would say 3+ is an absolute minimum. I personally wouldn't go less than 3+.
I wouldn't go underneath that. The only guys that I think it makes sense to go lower on that is your everyday law enforcement, bounty hunter type guys that are like, we're catching guys who, I mean, they're hardly ever going to be carrying anything. And if they are, it's going to be a handgun. Like it's low level crime guys that are unlikely to be thinking in terms of a long gun. Not that it can't happen. So I'm like, if I was doing it every day, I might be like, yeah, I'm sick of this. I'm going to lighter armor. But for guys like us, I'm like, I'm only going to wear it if it's bad. So might as well be ready to stop that 30-06, Right. So yeah, man. So I'm happy. I'm enjoying the thing. It's comfortable. We're going to do some training on it soon.
I like it, man. My theory in all of this is you want quality. You want stuff that's not going to break or easily deteriorate. Mm-hmm. As an example, I've got a range bag that I bought from Midway that I like the bag, but honestly, not as high a quality as I would have liked. And because I go to the range so much, I mean, you already start to see some of the stitching come out, little things like that. Like, it's kind of like, all right, that's next time I just got to upgrade, spend more money, get a good quality product. A lot of my stuff, as I've joked about on this podcast before, I mean, if it's on Amazon and it's cheap, I'll probably buy it.
Heck yeah.
Because I'm like, first of all, I'm not an operator. Secondly, I'm just training. And, thirdly, if it was a real world situation, it's still going to work. Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing that's not going to work here. It's all going to work. I did spend a good bit of money on I can't even remember who the maker is, but it's high quality. It hooks onto my belt. It's for AR and I believe Glock magazines. And so I mean, I think I can put probably 4 AR mags on it, 3 Glock mags, attaches to the leg, attaches to the belt, really high quality, really, really like it. That's probably the most expensive piece that I've got. And when I do AR training, that's what I'm rocking, man.
Yeah, buddy.
That's what I'm going to use. And I still put it all the Glock mags, even though, we're not shooting pistols. I'm like, yeah, but, I'm like you. Yeah, but I'm going to wear my pistol on the side and still going to put my Glock mags over there.
Still going to be ready, man.
That's right.
That's right. Who makes it again? Who is it that makes it?
And that's the thing is I can't remember who makes it. I'd have to actually go look at it.
Right.
I think it was Michael Hernandez, who we've had here on the podcast. He was the one who said, this is where you need to go to get good quality product. And I can't remember who it was. Cool. I wish I could. I'll find out what it is and let you guys know.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, thanks. That's I'm interested because I'm going to want a little bit more gear as that relates. So shoot me a link on that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. It's really good, really good, high quality. But that's kind of the thing right there, man. You don't want to invest even $65 and then like 4 months later see stitching starting to come out. Like that would just piss you off. You'd be like, dude, I still spent some money on this. I want it to be good quality. And the gun world is so funny to me because in my opinion, as I look at it from a marketer's perspective, because that's what I do for a living, right? It's marketing. I'm looking at this going, okay, there's really not a lot of money in guns it's all in the accessory. Like, if you think about it, Glocks are really expensive. They're like $500 brand new, whereas everybody else $399, $350, whatever, right? And Glocks are ugly. They are just ugly guns, which is why everyone tricks them out. Now, I'm still a Glock guy. I love my Glocks, and it's because I shoot them more than anything else. And so I'm a Glock guy, and I'm willing to pay the extra premium to have the Glock, even though it's ugly and everything else. But the real money is the barrels, the slides, even the P80 stuff. I mean, I look at that and I'm like, okay, because my buddy was over wanting to buy a gun. And I'm like, well, right now in today's market, the best you might be able to do is get a P80, make it, and then in California, you got to then register it. They're going to give you a serial number, put the serial number on it. He's like, well, what's that going to cost me? I'm like, all in, you'll probably in for $750. And he goes, oh, and that's less than a regular gun? I go, no, that's more than a regular gun. I go, the reason why all of us are willing to spend more is because the government doesn't know about that gun. Exactly. Until, of course, in California, you got to register it. But that's the whole reason why everyone does P80s.
Well, there's too many people that think that building any kind of gun is a budget option. Not that you can't go budget on some of these things. They don't understand that, that's not really what we're doing here. It's
going to cost you more. Hands down, it's going to cost you more to build your own gun. Yeah, I've never seen it not cost you more.
Well, the guys that keep telling me they're doing it for cheaper, I'm real suspect on where they're getting those parts. I mean, I've heard the story of the guy that built one for $300 or for $400. I'm like, where did you get those things?
Yeah, you can't even buy the parts.
There's been a couple of Delta Team Tactical has some pretty inexpensive parts. But I'm a little bit like, ooh, I don't know. I don't think you can get it down that cheap.
Well, what's funny is with the P80s, one of the things that you discover really quick is you pretty much have to use Glock parts for the internals almost always. And you can't use anything else. Like, because it's not technically a Glock, it is built for Glock parts. It's not built for everyone else's. Mm-hmm. So I've bought, different triggers and stuff like that, and then found I couldn't use them on my P80s back when I had P80s. State of California DOJ, I do not have any P80s. I got rid of them all when you guys changed the law. I do have all of the barrels and slides and triggers and everything else, but I have no lowers on them. Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, that was one of the things that I discovered. And the holsters. Like, if you've got a Kydex holster that's made for a Glock, your P80 is probably not going to work in it. Like, it won't work in the holster. It's slightly different because they had to change it enough to not get sued by Glock.
Yeah. So
it's different. It's not the same.
Man. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I haven't built one of those, but I'm thinking about, I probably hadn't considered all the little things like holsters and whatever that are just going to be slightly different.
Well, that's why, I was really kind of excited about that GS9 that, 80% Arms created. We reviewed it one time, looked really cool. Because they're claiming, hey, it will work in a Glock holster, which is a big deal because if you're a Glock guy, you got all this Glock stuff, and then what are you going to do with the P80? I guess it's a good home gun, but you can't put it in a holster. The problem right now with the 80% Arms GS9, and I think this is a significant enough issue. I'm going to bring it up here on the podcast. So they started shipping whenever they were shipping. COVID happened. They were selling out. I ordered one in, I believe, June, like late June of this year. I still have not received it, which I even emailed them. I'm like, guys, I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, but you got to understand that you're technically violating an FTC guideline that when you take money from somebody, unless you told them beforehand it's going to take you longer than 30 days to ship, you have to ship it in 30 days. And I go, the government already doesn't like ghost guns, and you guys are violating these laws. You're going to get popped, man.
Yep.
And basically, it took them about a week to get back to me on that. And they're like, oh, sorry, yeah, we're still, blah, blah, blah. And they're coming up with all kinds of excuses. And then the latest one was, we started shipping again, and then we got some new models in, and we weren't happy with them. So, and I'm like, dude, okay, are you still so in the beginning stages that your product still isn't good enough that you're like, oh no, send it back, we got to read? Like, this is too sketchy to me. And I'm like, it looked really cool, you guys made a great little video. I'm not recommending them at all. Definitely not recommending it if you want to get it. But everything they're saying online, I'm like, this is sketchy, man. It sounds to me like you guys don't have it down yet. You don't quite know what you're doing in making this.
I hate it for companies like that when they can't get delivery of product taken care of, because you can have something real cool and you might even have best of intentions, but if you're not getting the job done,
yep,
you're dropping the ball in business. Well, it's why everybody makes fun of Optics Planet. Now, to their credit, they don't normally take the money first, but they take your order and then you just wait and wait and wait and wait, and you never get the thing. And so everybody's like, you guys suck. Like, all the memes are just picking on Optics Planet. And I'm kind of like, well, yeah. I mean, like, my wife tried to get me a couple of things from Optics Planet as a gift. And I mean, it was months later, and she eventually just cancels the order. She's like, just forget it. And it's kind of like, they didn't take her money, but
because they probably knew about the law, and they're like, we can't take the money until we know we can ship.
Exactly. And it's basic stuff too. It was like Walker's headphones, like the Walker's.
Yeah, that is basic.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like something that like you just don't have. Like, everybody has it. Like, you went, and so we just went to the gun store and got it. And the other was it was like a little part to a Walther that I don't think is hard to get. Like, it was just a little accessory piece, and so I don't know, crazy.
Yeah, I've only bought, I think, maybe one or two things from Optics Planet. I did remember it took a little bit longer, but it wasn't the months. So I didn't know they had all that drama going on.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it was just, it was pre-COVID, but I don't know. They must have had a run of it getting really bad. Because, like, I mean, the memes were all like guys pleading with Optics Planet to like give them their stuff and whatever. And
interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it's better now, but it didn't go well for us. I had a buddy, same boat. He was trying to buy something in it. Same thing.
Interesting.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. So should we talk a little bit about this whole thing with, like, the president potentially dying of a disease and what that's going to do?
Dude, I'm telling you, like, if anybody wanted to assassinate the president, COVID-19. Like, you could so use COVID-19. This guy is...
By the way, we're not making a suggestion.
No.
We're just pointing out the reality of our situation, because everything can get blamed on COVID.
And how would you even know who, like, you get this guy infected, he takes it over here to this guy, who takes it to that guy, it finally gets into the White House. And
then he could be poisoned with something that has similar symptoms, and nobody would say boo, because it's like, well, he had COVID,
I mean, he's fat, he doesn't exercise, he loves fast food, he loves sugar. I'm like, if anyone's going to die from COVID, it's that guy right there.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing, though, is even in that situation, the death rate is pretty doggone low.
Not in his age bracket.
Well, his age bracket, but even still, we're looking at like a 5% death rate. That's serious.
It's higher than that. I think it's 10.
Is it higher?
Yeah.
How old is he now?
He's 74 or something. 70.
Okay, I might have been seeing numbers for like 65 or something like that. So he's older than I was thinking. But I mean, it's I mean, he's in that dangerous age. But even then, like, it's bad. 10% chance of death is scary. We're still talking about 90%, live through it rate. So, and it looks like he's doing better. We'll see. All that's very interesting.
I've been saying, what happens if whoever gets elected dies before Inauguration Day?
Yeah, there's big questions about that right now.
Because I don't know constitutionally. I don't know. Does it automatically go to the VP that got elected?
My understanding, I was actually listening to the briefing with Al Mohler today on this very topic, because it does get a little fuzzy here, but technically the VP is on the ballot. We are voting for a joint ticket, right? Yeah. So whether you vote, Biden Harris, or you vote Trump, Trump Pence, or Joe Jorgensen and whoever she's running with, I don't know, whatever crazy person you can find in the Libertarian Party. That's a real fun thing, by the way, when Libertarian presidential candidates are picking running mates, because it's like, well, do we think we could get John McAfee to not kill anybody this week? Okay, that would be good. And then it's like, hey, can we get somebody who's not currently on cocaine? And then you find that whoever that is, that's going to be your running mate. So my understanding though is because Pence is on the ballot and it's too late to change ballots. People are voted. People have already voted, right? I mean, the mail carriers have already dumped those ballots in the trash and burned them, right? So the vote has already been cast. So no matter how you look at that, my understanding is he's still on the ballot. So he is getting elected. So my understanding is the VP would come through. But
dude, could you imagine if Kamala Harris became president on day one?
Oh my gosh.
I honestly think that could be the thing that people go, no, civil war. That woman, are you crazy? No.
Yeah. Well, we are.
I actually want Biden more than her. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Biden is delusional. He's got dementia setting in, and I would rather have him than Camilla.
Well, that clearly there's a plan to neutralize him somehow. That's clearly what they're doing here.
He's probably already agreed how long he's going to stay in before he drops out.
Yeah. Well, and then it's like, is there going to be something nefarious, or is he just going to quietly retire?
I think he's going to quietly retire. He knows he can't do it. I think he knows it's setting in. He can't be president.
So here's what's interesting to me related to all this. So we have two presidents that are old and kooky and ill to some degree, right? Both of them. So, and then two VPs that are as polar opposite as you can get, right?
Yeah.
And so we're in what a weird situation we're in. And then you add to it the whole thing of all this mail-in voting and whatever and all that, and it's no longer crazy, I don't want to say that these guys are crazy, but let's just face facts. The less trusted news sources online were saying stuff was going to happen, but now trusted news sources are saying there's, we found these ballots in the trash, and we found these all this stuff. We know it's happening. We don't know the scale, but it's not like it's just a conspiracy that maybe some of these mail-in ballots were going to get lost. We're finding evidence that they're being destroyed. So already legit doubt is cast on the election. No matter how you cut it, we know that it is happening. Whether or not it's enough to actually influence the election or what, we know it's happening, right? So then so that's one more thing. And then we add to it that the stats on the percentage of people that think we're about to have another civil war is a pretty high percentage.
Yeah.
I forget what the stats were. I was looking at something yesterday, and I'm like, holy cow. It's serious business, man. So,
have you watched that Social Dilemma documentary on Netflix?
No, I actually canceled Netflix for a little while.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Is it good though?
It's all right. I mean, I'm maybe halfway through it. It talks about all the evil side to Netflix to Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff, which I totally agree. And as a marketer, I take advantage of it. The fact that they know everybody so well, and I can pinpoint my ideal audience and help my clients get more customers. So I use all of the evil stuff they're talking about to my advantage. But I found really interesting this last little section that I was watching, and they were talking about how, where this is heading is people aren't even going to talk to each other anymore because they're getting, and they basically talked about how in different countries, Facebook specifically was used to start civil wars to get two sides to go at each other, and how now no one will even talk to each other. And I'm like, that's totally America.
Yeah.
Like, we won't talk to each other. Like, you and I obviously have strong opinions. We do this podcast, but when people talk to us one-on-one, we discuss the issues. We don't get all mad and be like, Trump 2020, Trump 2020, crap like that. Idiots out there just like parrots of basic information. Like, they can't even discuss it. Like I've talked about, my most liberal oldest friend, and I mean, he is as liberal as they get. He and I talk about this stuff. Like, we talk about climate change. We talk about politics. We talk about racism. We talk about all these things.
Yep.
And we actually discuss stuff, but we're reaching a point in our society where we won't actually discuss anything.
Yep.
And I mean, I think you look at the news, CNN, MSNBC, clearly left-wing.
Yeah.
Fox News, clearly right-wing. There is no fair and balanced. Like, I know that used to be Fox's tagline. I don't even think they're bold enough to use that anymore, because they're not fair or balanced at all.
No, not at all.
And all they're doing is they're getting people who agree with them to then watch their stuff, and everybody else is evil. And I mean, that's our society today. We've just reached a point where, well, everybody else is evil. Like, one of my wife's friends, they were over for my son's birthday party, and she was talking about how one of her friends said to her, "Oh, you voted for him?" And I figured out they meant Trump. And her friend was like, "I don't know if we can be friends anymore." I'm like, dude, first of all, I don't like Trump. I didn't vote for him the first time. I'm not voting for him the second time. But seriously, to dump a friendship because of who you voted for? Yeah. Like, your guy isn't that much better. Or I guess it was the gal. It was Hillary back then. Like, your gal needed to be in jail just like that guy. And you're really going to say, well, he's so evil, I can't even be friends with you anymore. It's like, no, this is not civilization anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, somebody has done this intentionally. It's just crazy.
But they've done it in other countries. Why wouldn't they do it here?
Well, you talk to some of these guys who are like Black Ops or PsyOps or whatever, that are like, when we destabilize countries, this is how we do it. Like, this is exactly what we do. Not that we do that, right?
Yeah, of course.
But like, this is, we're following a pattern here, and it's concerning. So what a time.
In other words, everybody should get a plate carrier. I think that's the big takeaway from this discussion.
Yeah. Get your 150 round loadout, get your plate carrier, definitely get your tourniquets. It's, Hey, you know what? Something did cross my mind yesterday related to all this. Cause we've been seeing, by God's grace, we're seeing some huge freeing of children who have been trafficked. That like happening like crazy, which is interesting to me. This is happening like after all the Epstein stuff, which, by the way, I mean, he didn't kill himself, and who knows what's going on with Ghislaine Maxwell, who supposedly knows all this stuff, and we're not getting any information.
Is that why all of these things are getting popped? Is she talking?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like their contacts are getting hurt. It's everybody else, right? It's low level.
Wouldn't that be the way you do it?
Probably so. But last night we watched Operation, I want to say Tussaud or something. It's about Operation Underground Railroad. It's a documentary. Okay. And it was really interesting. And like to hear these guys, and I mean, they have full scale operators that go and like they free children. Like, that's what they do. They get a little bit of money. They go and do a fake buy. They partner with the people there, the police in that country, and they make the thing happen. Really interesting guys. But it was hitting me. I'm like, everybody I know that's involved in, anti-trafficking work is conservative. Now, I know that that's not exclusive. I know that there are liberal people that care about this. But it was just interesting to me that the people in this documentary are like all Republicans, like every last one of them. And I'm like, that's really, and then I was thinking like, I know about a couple of other documentaries, and I'm like, these are all conservative people, even if they're not overtly political people. Like, I know where some of them are coming from, and I'm like, yeah, that guy's pretty conservative. Like, I just think it's kind of interesting. And so with all the things that are going on, I'm like, these people that care about ethical things that are coming from a very conservative Judeo-Christian, like the Operation Underground Railroad guys are not Christians, they're Mormons. But they at least value the same ethics that Christians do. It's just all very interesting. And so as we look at what's, the tension that we're facing, and there's these divisions that are at play, I'm finding that there's still some people, if you can pull it out of them, that they value basic Christian ethics, whether they're Christian or not. They value Judeo-Christian ethics, and they'll say, okay, so yeah, we shouldn't kill people, and rape is bad, and trafficking is bad, and we should do something about it that involves, whatever. And so I'm finding that if I can get those kinds of conversations going, where people can say, yeah, okay, we agree on that. And then I'll ask why, like, where does that come from? Where does your standard of ethics come from? And of course, I'm going to take a pastor's tack, and I'm going to try to lead them to Jesus through that. But I'm finding that there's a whole lot of people on the ultra left side that don't really have a standard to build on. And that's concerning me. So as we get into some of these things where it's like, well, you are just the other team and you're bad, is a lot different than the conservative guy who's like, well, you're the other team and you're bad, but I also think that your life has value because you're created in the image of God. And it's a scary thing when not only do you have the division, but you also don't have a foundation for ethics based on any type of an objective standard. And that's what is scaring me. It also gives me some hope on the ones that I can lean in and have a conversation about that on. Anyway, that's on my mind a little bit lately.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Cameron, thanks for watching today, by the way. He mentioned he's looking for a good range bag, so thanks for your suggestion there. You were saying yours was from Midway, and it just wasn't awesome, right, Pete?
Still waiting for most of my parts from Optic Planet.
Yeah, did you see that? That's right on, Cameron. Like, there should be a support group for people who have been waiting on stuff from Optics Planet, but I'm pretty sure it would include nearly every gun enthusiast in the United States. And of course, trying to get more ammo. Did you see the meme? And it's like the two girls talking, and it's like, who are you going to vote for in this election? And the one's like, I don't know. It's so concerning. And then it's the two operator guys, and they're like, are you ready for this election? And the other one's like, no, dang it, I need more time to buy ammo. So good times. I also like the one that it's the Republican is yelling at the Democrat is crying at the Republican and saying, they're saying each other's candidate is evil. And then it's the two libertarians, they're like, we're going to lose. And then the other one is like, yep, and toasting him with some whiskey.
Oh my gosh. Funny because it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. Man.
No, it's interesting times for sure. Just, everything that's going down. It's funny because there's a training happening tomorrow night at one of my ranges, and I'm like, yeah, but do I really want to go burn more ammo?
Yeah,
with the election this close,
I know.
I might need that ammo for something else.
Exactly right.
That's the scary times we're in right now. Sorry, this is a family-friendly podcast.
It is. Family friendly. We talk about slotted commies and we don't cuss.
Much.
Very much. Oh man. Good times, man. It's gonna be, you know what? If we can share in an apocalypse with friends like you, it'll be okay.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, this I don't know what's gonna happen this November. I'm really kind of worried about it. The only thing that gives me hope is my state is so jacked up that an apocalypse would actually help it. Like, it would be a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there would be a culling, there would be, a cleaning out of the people. I don't know that apocalypse would really be that bad here in California. And I honestly don't know that it would look any different than, let's say downtown LA looks right now. It just would be more statewide. So,
you would be like, is this Detroit or is this LA? I can't tell.
Yeah. But, and I was talking with my other buddy about this, and I'm like, here's the thing. Cause he was like, maybe I should just buy some land out in Riverside just as a place that I could get away if things go really crazy. And I'm like, first of all, getting to Riverside from where we live, forget it. Like, we are the definition of bug in, not bug out. Like, things go down in California where I live, you're not bugging out. You can't get out. There's no way to get out. You're bugging in.
Yeah.
It's like, get close friends with the neighbors, get your rooftop nest going, and you're going to have to patrol your little, 3 or 4 house area, and that's going to be it, because you're not getting out. Not if things go down.
Yeah, buddy. You got to be careful. You got to be ready. This is, that is the danger of urban living, my brother.
It is.
I'm scared for you.
I really, I've always wanted to have a houseboat. And if I had one right now, that's where I would be in November. I would push out to sea and I would just wait it out there, because there'd be far less trouble out there. And I'd have the firepower to be able to protect myself out there.
It'll be like wasn't that like early on in Fear the Walking Dead? That's the guy has the boat, they spend some time out in the boat.
Yes.
Yeah, I have said for a long time, like a zombie apocalypse would be awesome, because first of all the people that are not the best are going to be the first ones to go. Right? And then on top of it, it's like, man, I feel a little stressed. I'm going to take my shovel out and I'm going to bash some zombies, man.
There you go.
And then you get together with your friends. Yeah, you get together with some friends. You have some gardening. Your debt is gone, right? Any debt you have, gone. Like mortgage payment, gone, right? You live off the land. We become more agrarian. Families get together. Friendships bud. Like, think about like, hey, we probably got some listeners that are single and they're like, man, am I ever going to find a nice lady? Have you ever paid attention to Glenn in The Walking Dead? Uses the zombie apocalypse to date way out of his league. It's a good thing, right? So this is going to be good for a lot of people. And the girl he ends up with, she's a sweet girl who ends up with a really great guy.
And then when he dies and he gets hit in the head with the shovel and his eyes popping out, it's okay, Maggie, I'm okay.
Okay. He's a tough guy.
Oh, dude.
Like that.
Did you see last night they aired a new Walking Dead series?
I heard it was going to happen. I didn't watch it, though.
I've seen most of it. I don't want to go into it, but yeah. I was like, all right, I don't know if it's going to be any good. I have my own comments on it, but I won't say them on this podcast.
All right. We'll have to talk about it another time.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff, brother. So anyway, well, this is the world we're in. So we're getting ready for it.
Yep.
It's going to be good. It's going to be really great. My hope is not in these things, my brother. And that's
it.
That's how we get by. Good stuff, man. Well, hey, I can close this out here a little bit. Say of course, we got all the classes at Lake Erie Arms, learms.net. We are adding another training really soon. You guys know we've been adding trainings like crazy recently. So be on the lookout. I recommend just going ahead and like visiting the page every maybe once a week or so, maybe more than that if you're smart. But learms.net, we're going to have some really exciting new classes added very soon, Lord willing. So we'll see you there.
I love it. All right, guys, we'll be back next week with another episode. We'll talk to you then. Take care, everybody.
All right.
You've been listening to the From Concealment Podcast with Pete Mitchell and Dan Sams. Be sure to tune in next week for more gun talk. Also, check out the From Concealment website for more shooting-related goodness at FromConcealment.com.